There's no fucking way. Yo, what is up, guys? Joker here, bringing you a video on the 3.15 Expedient Edition League skill gems that we have so far noted down here. I'm going to go over them, go over the ideas I have with them so far, and once again, like the trailer video I did, see how close I can get to how these may actually impact the meta. I know this isn't the full release, and it's not the numbers for damn sure, but we're going to go ahead and see what kind of ideas I got, and hopefully it'll help you guys out. With this announcement log, I want to go ahead and try to break it down into a couple videos, see how much stuff I can analyze. That way I don't have a 40-minute video, right? So that's dope. Also, I messed with the audio a little bit. Hopefully it is better. It's been like an ongoing thing where I'm trying to figure out the audio. I mean, give me a break. I'm new. I do apologize. I tweaked the audio hopefully enough where there won't be those loud random squeaks in it. So, hey. That's the main thing I wanted, but apparently I still need to turn up the audio higher. So I added a little bit of gain, I reworked a couple of things, changed a couple of things in my room, so hopefully it's better. But let's jump into it, right? So, first thing, Spectro Helix is going to be a mix of what I feel like Cobra Lash and Spectral Throw, right? Because bounces up to 3 nearby enemies and projectiles influence the number of bounces, as well as it does have some pretty decent effective damage, right? So the reason why I feel like it's going to be Cobra Lash plus the Spectral Throw is I believe this is going to come back with you, and it says it bounces if it collides with walls. So that's interesting too, because in scrunched up maps where normally your AoEs wouldn't get around them, you can go ahead and just throw this, and it should bounce down all the way through the corridor and hit enemies. And I feel like it's like Spectral Throw, where this is going to come back to you. So kind of like how, what is it, Venom Gyre? How Venom Gyre comes back to you, right? You're going to, or literally Spectral Throw, comes back to you. I feel like this is going to bounce back to you just because it says Spectral. And the other Spectrals kind of do that. So I feel like it's going to be a mixture of those two. First slots, go Deadeye, go GMP, go maybe Conversion, since it does have high damage. Maybe Conversion on the Deadeye. And yeah, just fucking chuck this, or even Trinity, maybe. Just throw it, and or flat damage, or shit, maybe even bleed. Who knows? You could maybe put it on a Glad and go ahead. The reason I say Deadeye is because the bounces are going to be based off your projectiles. And Deadeye has stuff scaling for your projectiles going further, as well as extra projectiles, right? So that's why I feel like that might be decent there. But then it was thinking about trying to find the right weapon. I was assuming foils still, maybe? I'm assuming foil, right? Because that'd be your best thing. A good foil, because that high crit, that, and everything. But yeah, let's move on. So, going into these next gems, TLDR, it's a totem. I don't use totems. It's a crappy version of Bladestorm plus Reap. And then, that's the way that I read it. So, these two are It gets down to some really nutty stuff, though. That's why I kind of want to skip over it. And then Bone Shatter seems kind of interesting. It'd be better if this was a support gem. That would be amazing, because then you could use it with like Glacial Hammer, and that would, or Ground Slam, and just make it like the most amazing skill ever. But no, it's essentially something you hit someone, someone hits you, you take more damage. So you may be able to do cash on damage loops with this really easy as well. But yeah, because you take 6 per physical damage per trauma when you gain trauma. So super easy cast on damage loops. I think that's something that they're going towards, because there's a lot of stuff that can trigger cast on damage loops. But yeah, so the first thing that I thought of was a super memey berserker trying to just take as much damage as you could, but being able to deal a shit ton of damage, right? But yeah, so out of these three, this is the only thing that's interesting. What comes to mind is a berserker. That's it, pretty much. And that's super memey. Dropping down here, these are some pretty good skills. Now, these I actually have a lot of interest in because these are fucking crazy, right? So look at this. Defiance Banner, a huge steroid for your evasion and or armor, as well as your enemy has reduced crit. And when you put this down, enemies deal 15% less damage. So it's a 15% damage reduction against bosses. How nutty is that, dude? And then if we go here, Shield Crush. This seemed insane to me because of the line enemies can be hit with 2 of the waves where they overlap. Now, if you're spamming this ability super fast and you're using like a face-breaking raider, I feel like this could be fucking nutty. Just throw on a huge shield, or even fucking the surrender. Throw on a huge shield, plus this, plus Facebreaker and Raider. I feel like that can be nutty. Or hell, maybe even just one big hit, right? I feel like this has some huge potential for being really, really strong. And then this, in my opinion, is fucking crazy. I can't understand why, actually. So, ever been too poor for a headhunter or even an inspired fucking learning? Well, here, let's get it on a skill gem. And the reason why this is so nutty, in my opinion, is because it's a strike support skill. If you look at the strike abilities, a lot of the strikes are already fucking OP or super strong on their own, dude. They're super strong on their own. So the fact that you're giving them a free headhunter is so good. Now, I kind of get why they didn't allow this to support like spells and some other stuff, because sometimes they have massive clear, but I don't think they thought about how much clear the strike skills have. I mean, Frostblades clears screens, Lightning Strike clears screens. So this is going to be insane. This is going to be amazing, especially on raiders with how fast you are as a raider. My first thought was Frostblades Raider. Throw this in as soon as you get it. Fucking zoom through mapping. This is going to help you grind so much currency. Just because it doesn't seem like it's limited. It just, you get one of the buffs. So it works like an Inspire Learning, except for a 20% chance to restoration of granted modifier by 5 seconds when you hit a rare or unique enemy. So you're going to have that up all the time. This is going to give you a free extra stat with either Expired Learnings or Headhunter or Replica Headhunter. This has so much potential. Dropping down here, this is probably one of my favorite skills. I think I've said that about most of the skills, but this is probably one of my favorite skills. Storm Rain, right? And it's essentially a lightning-based toxic rain. You know how you went TR Raider? Yeah, well now you just go conversion SR Raider, and then you can have 50% conversion to lightning, 50% conversion to cold, and then you can use Trinity and get a huge steroid there. This, I feel, is going to be completely fucking nutty, dude. Like, I already said it, some of the stuff down here is nutty, but come on. Just because if you read how the skill works, arrows fire beams every 0.5 seconds, you can have 100 arrows in the ground. That's what gave me the idea of Raider. And then each arrow can fire 4 beams. So you have 100 arrows on the ground. Each one has 4 beams. That's 25 beams, right? That's huge. And it doesn't say that these can't deal conflicting damage. So you get bosses in the center of that, I feel like that's going to do an insane amount of damage. Explosive Concoction is, kind of memey in my opinion. Mathel's going to have to try to pull something off of that, in my opinion, because I don't really see much potential. Maybe a Trinity thing with like a Pathfinder, maybe, especially with how new class work. Maybe, I don't know. And then Focused Ballista. This seems really strong with TR, Rain of Arrows, actually anything where you fire a projectile. You use fucking Barrage to trigger a massive massive, massive cast of anything. So it says attack speed, so I'm assuming mainly attack spells, but it also has supported skills only attack when you fire an attack projectile, right? So barrage, right? Is this going to trigger on each time you fire a barrage? Because if that is the case, how many projectiles does barrage fire? Like when you throw in like GMP and stuff, isn't it like 8 or 12 isn't it an insane amount of projectiles? Plus they have that support gem? Like, come on. So if this works like that, you're going to be able to fire off shit fucking 15 times a second from each totem. So that has potential to be super nutty if that works the way that I think it's going to work. We're dropping down to agility in the shadow. Ambush seems okay. It's kind of for a super hard hitting attack that I can't think of. Blade trap, no one uses traps. And a Voltaxic burst. This is essentially that charge up explosion chaos damage that we saw that turns lightning to chaos. I mean, that's kind of interesting, but by far not the best skill. If you go down here, Forbidden Right, this is going to be insane. This kind of confirms when I was saying that I wanted to start with this ability on a Trickster. Gain 5% of your max ES as base chaos damage, and 12% of your max life as base chaos damage. And the only caveat is you have to have chaos res essentially, right? Take 40% of your max life and 20% of max ES as chaos damage. Dude, if you get 80% chaos res, then this is going to deal pretty much no damage to you. And as a Trickster, you're going to have a shit ton of that hybrid. So it's going to be hitting like a fucking truck. So that seems pretty OP. And then it says fires extra projectiles up to 6 surrounding enemies. So, I mean, that's awesome, right? So that is maybe my starter, or it's going to be Frost Blades with Baby Headhunter, or it's going to be Storm Arrow, or it's going to be something else. I haven't decided because all of these abilities look so good. Well, most of them. And then you have Eye of Winter, same thing as the Totem and the Slam, it's and then you have Summon Reaper, it's a bleed minion, once again, I'm not that much of a minion player. These are kind of fucking nutty though. Mana Bond. This is going to make a fucking mana character so strong. You thinking fucking Mind Over Matter Ball Lightning from last league that I showed? This is going to be insane because it has its own flat damage and it's going to stack with Archmage and Arcane Cloak super well because it deals lightning damage based on the amount of 15% of missing reserved mana, plus the fact that it's going to have huge AoE because 25% of unreserved mana you have. So with Archmage, you're going to be casting this, and continuously you're going to run out of mana, and your last couple of casts while you're low on mana are going to do so much damage, dude. Like, the fact that it's percent mana is probably the only thing I think making this interesting, but this is going to be probably super strong on a mana stacking character, like insanely strong. And then if you go Absolution, this is kind of interesting. It's a lightning minion that you do a debuff. It's kind of like, what is it? Those sentinels that you get from Dominating Blow, kind of. But they're lightning based. I don't know. Once again, not a minion person. This video is getting too long, so I'm going to try to speed run this. But this is the last thing, and it is Battle Mage's Cry. You get Battle Mage on a fucking war cry, dude. Not only that, your exerted skills trigger a spell. Are you kidding me? Your exerted attacks trigger a spell. That is fucking nutty in my opinion. So I'm really hyped for a couple of these things. I may actually play way more characters than I normally play. I usually try to do an interesting starter and then I convert it to something to farm currency, get my headhunter, and then maybe test some things out at the end of the league. But this, it opens up so many possibilities with so many skills that I actually like. I might really want to test this out. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully there's not like audio spikes. I'm going to check in the recording, see if I see anything that looks like an audio spike. But you know, YouTube likes to add those after post editing because fuck you, YouTube. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos. All up in this next 7-9 days, I'm going to go ahead and try to keep videos coming out about the upcoming content, try to give you guys some ideas, try to give you some tips and tricks for starting a league, because I may not be the fastest player, but I usually get through to killing Cirrus in the first 1-2 days. So, and even with my work schedule right now, that may be slowed down a little bit, but first couple of days I'm usually killing Cirrus at the end game of the Atlas. So, there's that. And then, as well as builds, utilities, some of the macros, as well as some websites, give you guys some tips and tricks like I did last week, right? Alright, guys, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, like I said, and until next time, hopefully the audio on this video does not suck ass. I've already redone it like twice, and yeah, until next time, take care.